Eventually got there. Alright, so we're gonna have to do some naming here. We've actually already got stats as name up. I don't think we have MacSed, no. They're both stats. Alright, perfect. Easily fixed them. Maybe just needs to go a little bit to the left. Away from the minerals. Just like that, perfect. Alright, so let's kick this off. To the bottom right hand side we're gonna be having the yellow Zerg player, yellow Protoss player. It's going to be MacSed from Invictus Gaming. Not sure why he switched to a barcode here, but has done. Usually MacSed is one of the Chinese players that doesn't play on a barcode, so a little bit different. As you have to the upper left side of the map, the red Protoss player. It is from Kitty Roaster. Stats. So setting up into game number 1 of this best of 3, we're going to be seeing double gas on the way from both players. And just very standard way to open, of course. We're expecting to see the double gateway, especially on Frozen Temple. It's a very small map, so aggression from the get-go is really to be expected here. So, going to be seeing how this is going. Second gas going to finish up. A couple of probes going to jump into that there. And just 2 gates on the way up here early on. Isn't Neeb living in Korea at the moment, or did he go back to America? Asks Champ78. Oh gee, yes, Neeb went back to America. He's not in Korea anymore, and he won't be back in Korea for about half a year or something, is what No Regret said. Not until GSL System 2 or so, apparently, so he's away. He's in America. He has got BlizzCon to go to, and I guess just going to go and stay there instead of kind of traveling back and forth a bunch. I mean, BlizzCon's really close, right? So, especially the Global Finals is even closer, so just went home and, well, get ready to win BlizzCon, I suppose, is his next step. A literal god. Anyways, we're going to be seeing these couple of gates just finishing up, and we are going to be seeing this Cybercore finishing. We're going to see Warp Gate Tech is going to start. We're going to see 2 Stalkers on the way out against the 2 Adepts of stats. So, the 2 Adepts have definitely become the more common way to open off of the double gateway. The 2 Adepts really give you the maneuverability, the map control, just the ability to run in and just get damage done and scouting done in the early stages. You know, in the early stages of the game. So that's what these Adepts can really allow for you. As you see 2 of them just going to be popping out, going to be heading out onto the map. So these 2 Adepts going to head out onto the map. And yeah, I mean, on the other side of things, MacSed, well, even going 2 Stalkers first, then 2 Adepts actually as a follow-up is very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Not sure how exactly he necessarily plans to kind of deal with this. As we're going to see these 2 Adepts do commit. It's an interesting choice by Stats because he is just going to take a lot of damage from those Stalkers, and actually he's going to keep on shade, and now this is awkward from MacSed in a couple of ways, because he kind of wants to keep chasing and getting damage done here, but at the same time he needs something in the main base to be able to target down the Adepts as well, but he does have the Mothership Core, drops the overcharge very early. I'm going to see this last Adept left in the main base. Well, it's going to get chased down, he's going to commit away, but these Adepts actually stop chasing, so he's actually going to get away, but Stalkers in the middle map going to catch up anyway. Stargate has come up here from MacSed, so just going to start building into this. Start building into that Stargate, and we're just going to be seeing another probe on the way down. Warp Gate we're going to be finishing very soon. Robot Facility starts up from stats. So Robot Facility starting up from stats, we're going to see these 2 Stalkers going up the ramp, but stats on the high ground. Going to take advantage of that. He is down to Adepts going into this fight because he did lose them across the map here already. As we're going to be seeing these all of Adepts just shading in. We're just going to be seeing continued trades here as the Stalkers just helping to push those back right now. Stalkers push those back. Actually doing some pretty good damage, really. Got one Adept getting very low, but felt the Stalker's really taking too many hits. Adepts will threaten to shade in, but with the Mothership Core here, not really looking to be too hopeful. Both players choosing to expand behind their, well, set of tech, the Robot Facility or the Stargate. This Robot actually came in after the expansion, but you get the idea. The Stargate came in before the expansion. Robot going to be the follow-up from MacSed. I'm just going to sit with this Oracle for now. Actually, a lot of Stalkers out of position. Doesn't have anything really in his main base to defend, bar the Mothership Core overcharges, but he does have plenty of overcharges, so should be okay. I don't really like him waiting for the second Oracle to come out, because at this point when he's waiting for the second Oracle, he could have already forced an overcharge, and that could be one overcharge which is now gone and ticked away, whereas instead he's just going to kind of try and like run in, sort of like cheese his way to like an advantage. But if the Mothership Core, I don't understand, because if the Mothership Core is there, then 2 Oracles are still going to die pretty quickly before they can really get damage done. I guess they can still get a bit more damage done, but I think it would have been better to start wearing away at the overcharges available to stats in the earlier stages here. So we are going to be seeing stats actually with Hallucinate Oracle will come across. Just wants to show this to his opponent and be like, look, yeah, I'm got an Oracle trying to scare you. Not really going to happen. You can see MacSed isn't really too bothered by it. You actually see the Oracles diving into the natural. Well, that is interesting because there was a lot of Stalkers in the natural, and MacSed is just going to lose both of these Oracles without really getting anything done at all. So Stats picks up a very quick advantage there, killing off 2 Oracles, loses no workers. And I think he lost like what did he even lose? Let's look at this. I mean, he lost 2 Adepts early. He lost the Sentries, which were in the army. So I mean, the Oracles weren't that bad at trade, but still, losing the Oracles is huge. And he's going to be missing so much tech. We're going to see a little bit of a Warp Prism play from Stats. He comes across the map. We're going to see Blink out of Stats as well. Now that's interesting too. The Resonating Glaze, which is what MacSed's going for, has really become sort of the more standard meta game sort of way to play when it comes to getting a Twilight Council upgrade in the PvP matchup. So it's a little bit different from what we're maybe expecting to see from what we've seen recently. This Pylon and Stargate gets found almost immediately, so Stats can shut this down, no problem at all. And just going to move into Forge 3 more gates, and again the Blink is what really interests me. How is he really going to utilize this Blink early on? I mean, it is a good map for Blink. There's a lot of space around the edges here, there's a lot of space around the main that you can blink into. You can maybe drop a sentry and force field the ramp or something. So there is lots of possibilities there as these Stalks continue to come up towards this top side. You're going to see this third Nexus is starting to build as well here from Stats. So third Nexus is starting to come up, another pylon from Stats, or 2. He's got more pylons coming down, and again just sort of pushing himself, putting himself in between this kind of third base of the natural expansion. So I mean, he's very safe, and I'm just intrigued how the Blink helps him out, how exactly he tries to use it. Does he blink into the main base? Does he just take some map control? Does he just play passively with the third base and keep on playing passively even when he gets Blink? Stats still leading, and he leads by a 9 worker advantage. Slight army disadvantage, but I mean, it's bits and bobs, right? He's not starting an immortal basically, while his opponent has, but he has got a +1 attack upgrade. So very slight differences right now in the game between the players, and just going to be seeing really the economic advantage of Stats is what's going to be kicking in, and maybe the upgrade advantage too to some extent. And it's going to be about just over a full minute ahead of his opponent's upgrade, as that Forge is just now on the way up. A few probes going down actually over here as we see MacSed returning in the favour of that Warp Prism aggression from earlier. He's going to pick off a few workers now, which is definitely what he needs to do. He needs to try and slow down Stats from being able to just take too much of a worker lead, and that's definitely the position he's in. You can see Stats going straight into the Resonating Glaives as well, warps in a few Adepts. Just going to set himself up into this next sort of phase of the composition. Warp Prism going to be unloading in the centre here, a few more Adepts just coming in. We've seen, I mean, Max again a little bit aggressive, and I quite like this. I mean, I feel as though with the Glaives, you have a lot of opportunities to kind of jump in and be aggressive. I mean, look at this army of Stats. Honestly, to me, this army doesn't look like that brilliant. As you're going to see, he's actually just going to jump in. Now, the overcharges are going to be what makes the difference, really, as we're going to see this fight starting to happen. You can see, yeah, the overcharge is really just dealing too much damage, and just so many units caught in the back as well. Now, there's no force fields, but he has allowed his opponent to get another warping of units. Keep on pressuring. There's no +1 just yet for Stats, but it will be there shortly. We'll put some very far in the back as we're going to be seeing this fight continuing. The Immortals are starting to connect onto the Stalkers, which is of course fantastic. A few more Adepts coming in here. Needs to try and get those in front of the army to do the tanking. And that's exactly what he's going to get done now. Sentry in front is not going to do much. Actually, MacSed just going to GG out. I mean, he is on 2 bases against 3. And the Stats does manage to hold on quite convincingly, especially with the +1 attack in the end. MacSed just not having the right things at the exact... Well, it could be. Let's just change the players around, guys. Just update the names, just because they have swapped locations on the map. I was one of these people who, if like the Protoss player, if someone spawns on the top side of the map, they always have to be on top in the scoreboard for me. I couldn't have it like the other way around. Like, I know it doesn't really make a difference if I like flip them now, because the names don't flip, but I couldn't have like their name being on the bottom of the scoreboard, so I always make sure they're on the right side. Which of course can get a little bit frustrating if you've got to add on your own names and tags, because then you've got to edit them too each time. Well, not necessarily each time, but each time if you're unlucky, which we oftentimes are. What's new, really? Just setting up. And we've seen this probe coming up the right hand side of the map and having a look to see what's going to be going on. A probe coming out of MacSed as well, heading down to the bottom right hand side of the map here. So you'll see a couple of gateways coming in from both players, and again, just sort of expected. We really very rarely see the kind of one gate based players at all anymore, even when it's a large map like this, where you used to maybe sometimes see like a 1 gate expand or something. You just really don't. I mean, sometimes you see, well, pretty much every build comes off the 2 gate, like even most aggressive builds come off the 2 gateways now, even if it's a fast proxy Stargate or so on, just because the ability to go in towards those gateway units is just so valuable, and it just gives you so much to work with. Let's see this probe just kind of jumping between the minerals there, not sure which ones they wanted to go onto. It's going to be seen again. There's gates on the way from both players. Gates on the way from both players. Cybercore's about to finish, and keeping an eye on this to see how exactly this is going to go. Just see the probe just sat patrolling. And just keeping a little scouting, it's nice. And we're actually going to once again see MacSed with the 2 Stalker opening. There's the 2 Adept opening of his opponent here. So it's different. Like, to go to 2 Stalkers is not necessarily a weird thing, but when he went 2 Stalkers and 2 Adepts, that does make me kind of wonder to some extent. Kind of exactly how this kind of continues on, you know. So, we shall see. You see the 2 Stalkers about to finish up, and 2 Adepts will be on the way shortly, perhaps, from MacSed. We're about to find out if he's going to do the same again, or change things up slightly. This time he is going to change things up slightly. 2 more Stalkers, and it feels as though with this probe trying to hide down here, he's already trying to get into position where he can maybe hide a pylon and just build an extra gateway out on the map, just so that he can try and just warp in a few more units and just be super aggressive, probably, with like a 3 gate all in or so. Actually, something that MacSed has done a lot recently is he's gone into like 3 gate expand, not 3 gate expand, but like 3 gates like pressure with like a Stargate behind it too. It works quite nicely because the Stargate goes into the main base, and as the Stargate goes to the main base, what actually happens is that the Oracle goes to the main base, you pull away a lot of the units out of position, and that creates a bit of an interesting scenario. As we see the first Adepts of Stats are going to end up forcing these Stalkers to back away. MacSed just decided that he's going to be best off putting down a Nexus here instead in the end. We're going to see 4 Stalkers against these 3 Adepts. Adepts are chasing, he picked up 1 Stalker kill. Going to shade away again, he'll lose another Adept, but these 2 Adepts should get in towards the mineral line at least to some extent. Robot facility on the way from Stats. He expanded pretty much at the exact same time as his opponent here comes in, actually finds a probe kill. Not bad. We're going to be shading out. I'm just going to stick around here just in case another probe comes down to the low ground in the next couple of minutes and just sort of reveals itself and gets caught maybe a little bit off guard. Alright, so those Adepts going to be heading themselves out onto the map once again together. Robot facility coming in from either player. Nexus on the way up still from either player as well. Overcharge at the front will protect these against these few Stalkers. It looks as though there's just a little bit of a duel between the Stalker and the Sentries, and the end the Mothership Core coming in and being the real saviour here to just push this away and to clean things up. We've seen these 2 Adepts going to jump up towards the main base from Stats, or at least thinking about it. Doesn't know exactly where he wants to go. Picks up 1 probe. He's actually going to get multiple probes here. It's going to be up to 3 already. Maybe he can go in and pick off a 4th as well. Okay, so he's going to get 4 probe kills. I think actually Stats is once again just making him putting himself into an early lead in the game. I mean, we saw it in the last game too. He got up to a 10 worker advantage or so in the first few minutes. And similar things are happening right now. He's only had 5 worker advantage, but as the Warp Prison comes back out, you're going to expect to see probably some more damage being done and probably some more, well, probes going down from MacSed, and for Stats to kind of pull a little bit further ahead once more. We see these few Stalkers just posted in the front, and well, they just hit onto that pylon for a moment or two and back away. Oh no, the force fields! So good. I mean, killing off these Stalkers like this, 3 Stalkers, is a huge pick-off in Stats' favour. I mean, those units are not cheap, and to not really lose anything while doing it as well just makes it even, you know, amplifies the real sort of success there in the engagement. You've seen this Warp Prism heading up the right-hand side of the map. So Warp Prism going to head up the right-hand side and just going to be dropping off in towards this mineral line in the next couple of moments. We're going to be dropping off here, going to see a couple of probes starting to take some damage. 1 probe dropping already, there's a 2nd probe going down too. So let's see that Sentry getting a little bit of damage here, and just see what you can get up to. Nice little play by the Adepts just to get 1 more worker. There's 3 workers killed, and you can see now 40 to 32, we're getting to that sort of 10 worker advantage again. And it's just really kind of a mirror, it's just like a repeat of last game, it really is. Resonating Blade is going to come up here first out of MacSed, while Stats will go straight in towards Blink. He goes into his Forge as well. It's the exact same as game number 1. So it's interesting because MacSed obviously isn't changing anything up despite losing in the first game. So we'll see maybe if he just decides to fight better, see if he just decides to engage a bit differently, see if he goes for a bit of a different timing, doesn't attack with the 2 base play, maybe takes a 3rd base instead. So Phoenix just kind of coming through, going to get picked off there pretty quickly. And 4 gates just on the way up from both players in there. Well, not in their mineral lines, but towards their mineral lines. 4 gates on the way up from both at the moment. So 4 gates on the way up from both. Resonating Glazers and Blink on the way, +1 comes in as well from Stats. Just continuing to set up into this. As we see this Warp Prism just going to be coming overhead. These Adepts in the Stalker. Still just heading down through the center of the map. We're going to see 1 more Adept finishing up here as well. A couple more deaths just going to be finishing up here. The Glavis is just finished. So we're going to see the exact same attack from MacSed. He's just going to get aggressive off of 2 bases, try and attack and try and make something happen. Now, Stats himself is playing fairly standard as well. In terms of what he did in the last game, he hasn't taken the 3rd Nexus so quickly though. He's actually going to go Templar Archives. We'll see what he uses that for. If he uses it for Archons, then he's going to be alright here straight away. It's actually going to be a pretty good position for him. Archons do a pretty good job splashing up against those Adepts. If he decides to go for Storm, well, that's just not going to be ready in time for this fight, so that's the choice here, which would not really benefit Stats in any way, shape, or form. As we're going to be seeing him. MacSed starting to come in this direction, and Mortal picks off a Stalk to begin with. MacSed at this point hasn't actually seen the lack of a 3rd base. We're going to be seeing the Immortals actually across the map though from Stats. That's interesting because these Immortals are essentially out of position in terms of dealing with the, in terms of dealing with this army. So he's actually missing quite a bit here. So we're going to see, well, these Immortals are going to have a good time. So I mean, I think really MacSed realizes the opportunity. So he comes forward, picks off one Immortal straight away. Overcharge comes down though, and the Overcharge just really begins to make the difference. Buys Stats time to get +1 finished, and that just completely changes things. He's still killing off so many probes back on the other side of the map, so many of these going down. It's going to be, what, 12, 13, and still counting. We're going to see Adept shading by once again. They might get up towards the main base if that's what they want to do. And the Council is just going to commit in this location right now on the low ground. Keep on fighting. It's still a fairly close fight over on this side. The Overcharge is still in position here to keep those Adepts from moving too far forwards. Buying Stats time, but he doesn't have infinite energy on the Mothership Core. Eventually these Immortals must come back home, right? There they are. They are back home. So the Warpisms come back. I mean, that's essential here. And the Immortals are going to add so much more kind of firepower and just a bit of shields as well to this army. And this allows them to trade a little bit better against this throughout compared to them, especially compared to them being across the map and the Warpism just trying to harass. And so these 2 pounds at the front are going to go down. Stats will fall even further back right now. As MacSed's very serious about ending this right here. And we're seeing the Immortals just dropping forward, seeing what they can do. Overcharge goes down as well, realizing that this is a big commitment from his opponent now at this point that he is, because we're really committing in towards the fight. A bit of Warpers Micro on a few low health Adepts here. But MacSed's just being pushed away. The +1 attack of Stats is really helping him. And this one Archon as well is really just adding on that little bit of extra splash damage, which just changes so much. And you can see that in the end there is just too much from Stats. GG out of MacSed, and Stats takes the first series of the day with a clean, simple